man fortjener en lille sisha, ikke? Når man lige har optrådt i nummer 5 land. Så her, jeg juicer min egen pineapple.
Right, please make some noise for Mikael Rosanes. Hi guys, I am so happy to be in Istanbul tonight.
Welcome!
Actually, in my age, I'm 71, I'm happy just to be anywhere. I'm a little too old for stand-up comedy, so I'll sit down. Well, actually, I've been here a couple of times, but this time I'm here a little longer, and I am having trouble getting around because whenever a taxi driver sees me, he thinks, oh, there's an easy victim. I mean, it's like I'm wearing a big sign on my back saying, tourist with deep pockets, lots of cash, come rip me off. I tried actually yesterday 5 times to hail a taxi, and they all kind of didn't speak English. I mean, nobody knew the word taximeter. They all knew like 500 lira, and few of them 300 lira. But I felt a little trapped, you know. And the whole situation about the Wi-Fi, oh my God, it seems like you have to have a Turkish SIM card to be on the Wi-Fi. So as a tourist, you know, I feel like I'm just wandering aimlessly around like in the Stone Age. It's like being in a digital black hole. I feel a little like a hostage, so, but what the fuck, you know? Why even take a taxi when you can do your daily workout for free? So that's what I'm thinking about doing the rest of the time. Well, as I said, I'm old, and actually I'm so old that the other day my 6 kids came to me and said, Dad, we want to ask you something. And I said, okay, pop the question. And they said, Dad, do you want to be cremated or buried? And I thought about it, and I just said, well, why don't you surprise me? I mean, it's not like I'm suddenly going to sit up in the coffin and say, this is not what I wanted. Well, anyway, I had the same discussion with my mom. I mean, should my dad be cremated or buried? And the discussion went back and forwards, and we couldn't agree. So we just ended up letting him live. Well, talking about my 6 kids, having so many kids, it's like having a built-in funeral plan, because there are 6 handles on a coffin. So in this way, I have 1 kid for each handle, and the best part of it is to my funeral, I don't have to invite any of my 3 ex-wives. Because I really don't want to give them the chance to let me down again. I mean, I don't need that kind of negativity in my afterlife. Well, did you know that Denmark is number 2 and 1 many years in a row of the most happy list? I mean, happiest country in the world. I mean, Denmark is the first country in the entire world that legalized pornography. Might be a connection there. But the thing is that the legal age for consensual sex in Denmark is 15. So it's not only the adults that are happy, kids are happy too. Well, well, that is very inappropriate. Yes. Well, in Denmark they call me open mic. And that is because I'm so open about my sex life. I mean, if you can call that a life. The thing is, when you get my age, sex happens very rarely. And that's because you have to plan it mentally, physically, medically. And then you want to do it at a date that you can look back and remember. So you have to like pick a date you can remember. So I've chosen to do it every time they elect a new pope in Rome. Well, I was recently in Dubai doing a gig at a doctors' convention. And that day they had published a survey where they actually found out that 8 out of 9 Dubai doctors who tried camel actually ended up going back to women. Well, I'm going to end this little show telling you why I'm actually here. Well, I have been in Asia nearly for a year now. I got the fuck out of Denmark 24th February last year when the Russians invaded, occupied Ukraine, because Ukraine is a little too close to Denmark for comfort. And I don't like occupations, you know. I mean, Denmark, we had our own occupation in 1940, where the Nazi Germans came for all our Jews. And that wasn't orange juice or apple juice, you know. So, actually, I have a forefather that was living here in Turkey, and he was a rabbi. And my grandfather was Jewish, so I could say I'm partly Jewish family. So I'm born right after the war. So when I was small, my daddy taught me that if anybody ever asks you, Michael, if you're Jewish, always answer like this. Not necessarily. Who's asking? Thank you very much. You've been great.